Hi, it's Donnee Patrese, and I'm here once again with my series, How to Start a Novel. So today we're going to be talking about audience, how to write to them, and how to build an audience. Okay, so what is an audience? An audience is, I would say, the readers or potential readers of your novel. So today like I said, we're going to talk about how to write to them. And then I'm going to give you a little advice on how to build an audience. So first, we're going to talk about how to build an audience. And this is as you write. So some people assume that you need to build your audience once you're done with your novel, once it's completed, or some people even believe that once it's published, you need to start building an audience. No, you need to start that from day one, when you first start your novel. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is marketing yourself. So basically, you want to start to market yourself as you're in the middle of, or once you begin your novel. How to do that? You might ask me. So basically, marketing yourself includes nowadays social media. So social media is very important when you're starting to market yourself. So you want to use Facebook, and with Facebook, you want to start a author page, which is basically a page you manage. You also want to start a Twitter account for your author page, and that's basically separate from your personal page, especially if you use a pseudonym and you have a different name as you write. You want to basically have a page in regards to that person. Yes, you're going to be a split personality here. So also you want to make sure that with these pages, you interact with people. So you want to burst out of your comfort zone and basically talk to or interact with people who might engage you on those pages. And that's how you go ahead and build a social media audience. Also, you want to interact with fellow writers. So I know once I started my Twitter page as an author, I interacted with a lot of different writers. So I didn't jump into the readers just yet, but I talked to a lot of different writers and basically saw what they were working on. And I interacted with writers who were similar to me in the sense that they wrote in the same genre that I wrote in. And I basically just interacted with them. And then I started to find through them and through Twitter and Facebook, I found people who love to read and who love to read my genre. So, and then I interacted with them and got them to be involved in myself, basically in my day-to-day, in my writing process. And that's how I started to build my audience. Also, you want to definitely use word of mouth to market yourself. So word of mouth includes using friends and family to spread the information that you're writing a novel, what the novel is about. So you might want to, at that time, work on a synopsis or just a small summary of what your book is going to be about. And that's where outlining comes in, because with outlining, you've pretty much outlined from chapter 1 to the last chapter, and then you can put a small summary together, even if that changes a little bit throughout your novel. You can put a small summary together that your family and friends can use to help you market yourself. They can basically post for you. They can post about you, and that gets other people interested. So basically, family can be also beta readers for your first few chapters. So you might want to start, let's say you're farther in you're on chapter 10. You can have some family read up to chapter 10 and basically post about those chapters and how much they like the book, if they like the book, and just post about that. So it's not too early, like I said, to build an audience. You want to start as soon as you start your novel, because that way, once the novel comes out, you have people already ready to read it and not waiting until it comes out. And now you're trying to build an audience of people who want to read your novel. Also, like I've said in the past, you might want to start a blog and blog your process, blog where you are, how you're doing this. Basically snippets of what you're writing, and basically just small things like maybe parts of a chapter, or if you have a prologue, parts of the prologue, just to get people interested. And like I said, to build that audience. And once you build that audience, you need to keep in mind that you're writing towards these people. These are people who are interested in what you're writing. So the next thing we're going to discuss is how to keep that audience and how to write to them. So the first thing is you want to start marketing yourself, but when you go to market your novel, actually, you want to make sure that you are keeping your audience in mind. So first things first, genre. Your genre will determine what your audience will be like. So certain people like a particular genre. So when you write, you want to keep that in mind, that your audience will be looking for different things when they're reading your particular type of novel. So this goes back to guidelines for your genre. So you want to make sure that, like, if you're writing strictly in romance, or you're writing strictly in erotic romance, or you're writing strictly children's books or memoir, that there are people who read those type of books and they have particular things in mind that they're looking for when they read those books. So there are also guidelines that you can find online, or you can talk to other writers who write in that genre and figure out exactly what to expect. So I've done videos on genre, and I've also done videos on my particular genre, which is erotic romance, and basically talked about, if you're going to do this, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps that you're going to need in order to complete that novel. Like I said before in my genre video, that you can basically create your own genre. Don't be afraid to create your own genre. But that means that you're going to have still some guidelines that you want to adhere to for that audience. So when you pick your own genre, this might be a little more difficult to do as far as audience wise, because finding an audience when you pick your own genre may include combining audiences. And that means like targeting a combination of readers by looking at genres that are similar to yours. So you want to, let's say you combine romance and suspense. So you want to find people target people who like romance and who like suspense, or people who like suspense, maybe not so much romance, but at least you have enough suspense that they would particularly like that book. So you want to target both audiences in that regards. We're going to talk about book length. So with your book length, it could push away some readers and it could bring some readers in. So book length being too short. So if your book is too short, it may turn some people off, because researching word count for a full-length novel may be required in this regard, because let's say you have 30,000 words or 40,000 words. That's a very small novel. And some people might see that as maybe it's not a legit novel and they may not pick it up. Some people like that. They like to read quick little stories and things like that. But some people might not necessarily want to read a novel that's too short. So I would say research what full-length novel word count would be. I typically try to go 60,000 words or above, but I stay below 80,000 because I don't want it to be too long, but I don't want it to be too short. And you just got to find that sweet spot for your genre. So book length being too long, as I stressed before, some genres have very long book lengths. Like they could be, fantasy books can be 100,000 words, 80,000 words, like really, really big, thick books. But for romance, like I write, you don't want to go 100,000 words for a romance novel. So like I said, researching what your audience wants and what they're looking for is key to writing to a particular group of people. Next thing I want to talk about is your voice. So you want to write using your own voice, but you also want to look at, like I said, what an audience is looking for when you're writing a novel. So they say you should write to yourself and the readers will come. I say if you write what you love and write toward a particular audience, it's a win-win. So what I mean by that is don't pick a genre, don't force a genre on yourself, and also look for readers that like that particular genre. So I write erotic romance and I love writing erotic romance. So that's a win for me because I get to write something that I love to write about. And I also throw a little suspense in there now and then, so to keep you on your toes. But because I like to write erotic romance with a little suspense, I'm just going to write that. But I'm also going to look for people who read that and make sure that I write in regards to what they want to see. So if they want to see particular characters, particular type of people in those novels, I'm going to add those people, but I'm still writing what I love. So for me, it's a win-win. The audience will come because they like to read those novels, but you have to also like to write them. If you're writing something that you don't particularly like, it will definitely show. So make sure that you focus on something that you love and then also what your audience is looking for. Get it? Okay. So, but I don't want to stress not writing with your own voice. You can write to yourself, but you also want to look at those readers that read that particular genre. You also don't want to just write something obscure just for yourself and isolate your audience. Yet you also don't want to just write to an audience and have your writing not be something you love. So that's my explanation for that. Okay, ultimately it comes down to what your audience wants, and that goes into plot, climax, twists, the resolution, what kind of characters do they want to see, what point of view do they prefer to the characters to come from. So if they want third person or first person, you need to know those type of things. What do they want to see in the characters? Those are questions. So like with characters, you want to know what is the age range of your characters, because that will bring in certain readers. What kind of ending do they expect? If it's a romance, a lot of times they expect a happy ending. With a romantic suspense or with an erotic romance suspense, sometimes they want a happy ending and sometimes they want something crazy to happen at the end. And you need to know those things. Also, do they prefer a straightforward book, or do they want a twist at the end, or do they want a twist in the middle? Like, those are the type of things that you need to know when you write to a certain audience. So I don't want this video to make you nervous as you write. Like, you have to keep all these questions in mind as you write. But my purpose for making this video is not to make you feel overwhelmed as you write your novel. Basically, I just want you to keep your audience in mind as you write. So get into the shoes of your readers and write as one of them. So like I said before, it has to be something that you love to write, but you want to be empathetic on this. You want to be able to get into their shoes and look at how this book would make them feel, how this book would affect them, and write in that regards. Every chapter that I write, I look at, okay, if somebody's reading this, how are they going to feel about this? How are they going to feel about this character? Are they going to love or hate this character? Do I want them to love or hate this character? You have to look at that as you write. I hope this video was very helpful. I hope you got a lot out of it, because this is something that helped me as I write my novel. And something that after I wrote my first one, I've been able to use in subsequent novels after that. And I just keep my audience in mind as I keep my mind on my characters and on my writing. So don't forget to subscribe to these videos, because then you'll know when new videos come out. Hit the bell notification for the same reason, so that you'll know when more videos come out. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm Donnee Patrese on all 3 formats. Also, don't forget to check out my books on Amazon. You can search Donnee Patrese and they all should come up. Okay, so next video, we're going to talk about get into the writing and get into your synopsis, your climax, your everything else. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.